This ain't a place for no woman.
And jail is for punishment, and it's something that we have to have in our society, but also doesn't mean that a jail has to be a place where you're only locked up and nothing happens while you're there.
Some people stuck in their ways, they just don't want to change.
People still gonna say you'll never change.
I just wanted to hear their story. Why are you here?
Don't let nobody take your dream.
I think everybody deserves a second chance.
What you see on the outside is not always what's on the inside.
But also I tell them when they're here, if you mess up, we're going to be out there to arrest you.
There's no win because now I'm in the system.
I'm Kim Clark.
And I'm Pat Werheim.
We go out into the world to look at everything.
Topics such as food deserts, wage theft, and recidivism in jails.
Access to healthcare, education, welfare, major issues we face at home and around the world today.
Come search with us for answers to these issues and more
as we discovered new answers to today's big questions.
How many have been here more than once? How many have been here more than twice? I'm gonna move it on up, okay? Yeah. How many have been here more than 5 times? The numbers are going down. How many have been here more than 10 times? How many have been here more than 15 times? 20.
Oh, yes.
Should I stop?
Stop. Yeah.
25. 1, 2 left. 28. That hit it. Okay.
Some of the women in the Berrien County Jail have been here more than 30 times. It disrupts their families and can be devastating to their entire community.
I had a house I was buying. I had a job. I was 2 months away from getting my degree, and before I started heroin, right before I started heroin. Was a soccer mom, a football mom, and I lost all of that.
Started getting high again. I had old contacts that I was, talking to, which was a bad idea.
This ain't a place for no woman. Every time I commit a crime, I get slapped on the wrist when I come over here. That's why I kept coming. But I'm here for driving, and I just wanted to share my story because sometimes it ain't all about alcoholics and drug addicts. All these ladies are strong, everybody done been through some stuff, but everybody in jail is not addicts and alcoholics,
This day has really helped me because I only cared about myself.
So how do we begin to build stability in our lives? How do we rebuild? How do we regain? How do we reestablish?
And jail is for punishment, and it's something that we have to have in our society. And when people break the rules, there have to be consequences. But also doesn't mean that a jail has to be a place where you're only locked up and nothing happens while you're there.
It's better to think about your future, can be more positive than think about all the stuff that you did wrong. I did it. Now what? I done got sentenced, I was guilty, now what?
This is the Fresh Start Prevention Program in the Berrien County Jail. Its goal is to help men and women develop the tools they need to stop coming back to jail.
The Fresh Start is just a program to help people realize why they're here and what they can do to change their life to get rid of that drug addiction, alcohol addiction, or whatever other addiction they have, and to bring out, why they got where they were at and what they need to do to live a productive life once they're released from jail.
I just want people to learn from my story, man. I went through a lot to be who I am. Like, if I could do it again, I wouldn't want to be who I am, you know what I'm saying?
I'm really do not want to go back. I'm so just because it's a simple fact where I'm at. I don't want that life. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to be unhappy and miserable and right now I'm on the bottom. I'm starting all over again.
This is the first time that someone sat down with them, looked into their eyes and said, what's behind the actions that brought you here to jail?
Some of them have been incarcerated off and on for like 100 sometimes. So they're repeated offenders. Most of them are nonviolent offenders. But they're women who had a past and the past hasn't been that good. and they just need to rethink how they make decisions. So that's one of the reasons that we're there. Just because somebody else aggravates me does not justify me of losing my temper. I can't blame anybody for losing my temper because I need to have control of my own attitude.
This is our life. We're under construction. You know, some things, in order to make it new, you got to tear it out. You know, since our life has been under construction, everywhere we went has been a dead end. And the only thing life is waiting for is us to turn around and go the other way. Definition of insanity is what?
Doing the same thing but expecting different results.
Over and over and over.
Tell us how you got started on this Fresh Start program.
5 years ago, the county commissioners and administrator and the sheriff was touring the facility and got an opportunity to observe that there were quite a few women incarcerated. So I began to have a conversation with the sheriff about what programs were gender specific. And he said there was some, but not a lot. And then I requested, could I start a program in the jail to work with the women? And that program will be called Fresh Start. Being mature means that you can control your behavior. What I do is I keep people within my space and I let them know, okay, please, I ask you so nicely, get out of my space. That's just the first time. Then the second time, I move so I give you some space. Okay? The third time, if you won't get out of my space, out of my place, out of my boundaries, then I 911. You thought I was going somewhere else. Yes, you did. I mean, when you see women incarcerated and being a woman and not being perfect, knowing that people fall into issues. But when I seen women incarcerated in the county that I love, okay, my heart went out and I just wanted to hear their story. Why are you here? And can we do anything to help you from keep coming back here? What can we do to support you while you're here so you don't, if you're depressed, that you don't continue to be depressed and you become productive, and then you take and have tools to deal with your depression or to deal with your addiction. It takes tools. You can't just fix things overnight.
No, you need help and you need therapy and you need classes and courses
support.
and AA and NA. I mean, we need, all of us need those things.
Nobody can do it alone.
I thought I was better than any other person just because I had my house and was working. But every other day I was getting high, mixing heroin and meth together, drinking every night. That's about it. But this is the first time I've ever been in trouble. I'm 27, this is the first time I've been in trouble, and I spent a year of my life in jail, back and forth.
When you leave here, negativity's still gonna be there. People still gonna say you'll never change. You're gonna be just like your daddy, or you're gonna always be in and out of jail, or, you know, or just watch him, because he ain't changed. He going back. Somebody's really thinking that about us. But how do we make the devil out of a lie? Reinvent yourself. You gotta reinvent yourself.
My mom shot me up for the first time with heroin when I was 12. So I'm 26, I'll be 27 in a couple months, and I've battled this addiction for like 15 years, probably by now. I've been in here, this is my 15th time in jail.
I mean, I don't think anybody watching is going to really believe some mother walks up and injects a child at 12. I can believe it.
It's more often than we really know.
Really?
Because when you're dealing with addictive parents and they want their kids to be a participant. We've had, been kids introduced to sex at 3 years old. And they fault the system for incarceration, but sometimes, and a lot of times, incarceration has spared individuals' lives and has helped change parenting skills. And the young lady that shared her story, she's aware more now that it was wrong.
Right.
Yes.
I had knee surgery, and this is how I got addicted to heroin. I had knee surgery, ACL reconstructive surgery, because I was a really good soccer player.
and I was 16, and they gave me a lot of Vicodin, and I got addicted to that, moved up to Oxycontin and morphine, and then I saw heroin, and I didn't know you could snort it, and so I was snorting pills, and I thought, you know, heroin, oh, you shoot it up. I didn't really know much about it. I had to ask the person I was getting it from, like, what is this? I don't even know what this is, you know, because I was just known it was like a street alley junkie drug, because they didn't really teach you much about it in high school. They emphasized a lot on ecstasy and marijuana, so I didn't really know anything.
My daughter, you know, my son stay in Muskegon, but you know, I have him like he live with me, you know, because that's how much I love my kids. My daughter, you know, she 2. She don't know nothing but me, really, you know. She sleep with me, she eat with me, everything. And the 9 months that they got me doing now, you know what I'm saying? I can't give her that back.
They may be the toughest audience, but they're most captive audience in the world. They're the most sensitive audience in the world because they have one goal, most of them, is to get out. So we need to help them with what do they do beyond this moment.
I'm here because I embezzled a lot of money, and my addiction was gambling. And it could very well been drugs if I had access to them, but I didn't. It could have been anything, because when I was seeing a therapist, they said everybody has an addiction inside them. It just takes something for it to come out. Because I've gambled before and I never had a problem, but last year, I mean, ever since my dad died 3 years ago, I felt depressed. When I took the money, I didn't want to take it. They were good to me when they hired me. I had a good job. I worked hard, and I didn't want to take it, and I wouldn't think about it. I wouldn't even think about it that much until I had the cash in my hand. If cash came in, I would have it in my hands, and then I had this sudden urge to go gamble. But other times, I would have cash, and I would put it in a deposit. I didn't touch it, and it made me feel so good that I was strong enough not to take it. But I didn't do it every time, and I just would hear other people talk about their normal days and how they had to pay bills and stuff, and I thought, geez, I wish I had that life back.
That's sort of amazing how gambling took over her life and became her addiction.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And the root of it was her father had passed.
Yes.
And she wasn't able to deal with the loss of death, and led her into the road of depression. Gambling became her safe haven, and then she couldn't gamble without money, and then when money was on the job in her face, she had to take it. She has never said
one word.
Nothing.
Wow.
I have never even heard her voice.
Wow.
She's polite. She's a participant.
Yes.
As far as her physically, but she hasn't verbalized. And for her to verbalize the fact that this is what I did, and I'm saying to the world that it was wrong, and this is why it was wrong, I'm not making an excuse. When you can say that it wasn't alcohol's fault, it wasn't, I just couldn't handle my emotions.
Yes.
And it led me,
She's taking responsibility and she's planning on paying the money back. And that's a lot of money.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of money. It's a smart group of people.
They are.
This is not a dumb group of people.
They could all get out and stay out.
Absolutely. I believe that too.
Yeah.
But even the people who've been in here 20-some times, which always is amazing to me. I was adding up their years, and they've obviously been in here more of their life than been outside, because they aren't very old.
Oh, that's true.
They spent more of their life in jail.
That's right.
That's really interesting.
And out of jail, and gosh.
And with children.
My kids would tell them, where's my mom? Does she not love me anymore? Because we want to go home with her. And they don't like where they're at. But there's nothing I can do besides keep trying to fight for them. But it seems like it's one thing after another.
I lost sight of my motivation, and I've lost everything since I've been here. And going home.
What have you lost, man?
I lost a house, a 7-year relationship. I got newborn twins that are walking now. I've missed moments I'll never get back, you know.
I think I told y'all the story about the little boy at the church who came up to me and said, my dad's not there for me. And we're having donuts with Dad Day. Could you go? You know? And I was proud of the experience to go and somebody else to look at me as a man and say, you know. So when we got out the car, he grabbed my hand. He's only 6. Walked in, you know. So sitting at the table and seeing other kids have their dad and his dad not there and I'm there. So being questioned by another dad, he's like, hey, how you feel, young fella? You got your dad here. He was like, he looked at me, I was like, yeah, we're having a great time. He was like, are you going to the book fair? He was like, I was like, yeah, we're going to the book fair. Yeah, come on, son. But imagine how your kids even feel today.
Right.
Just having you in the house. Just being able to say, Dad. You know, my daughter, when she hears something, she don't run to mama. Right. She run to Dad. So we're gonna be that security. And it almost got me in tears here.
You ain't lying. Man, same way over here.
Having teachers come in here, the caliber of Marlotta Seats and the group that she brings in, you know, they talk about real life. They also talk about their challenges and that you're not the only person that has those challenges, and these are the tools you need to work through those challenges. And I think that's what's going to help.
Sometimes you have to repeat a mistake more than one time in order to get it. It just depends on how fast you grasp things. Some people's comprehension skills are not as good as others. So I might make a mistake once, I might make it twice, but I just might get it that third time. It just is based on how well you're able to comprehend what you just did.
63 years old and I'm in jail. That's my biggest concern, you know. I tell myself, you know, sometimes I can't sleep at night. 63, what are you doing in here? You know, when I came through here for class and I looked around, I saw all the young guys, you know, and, you know, this kind of put me out of place. You know, I don't see no benefits for me being here, you know. This is crazy. So.
What would you say to some young guy, man, who, you know, we have 16-year-olds and 18. Who's the youngest in there today? 18, 19? How old are you?
18.
18? Okay.
You know, get a job. That's the main thing. Get a job, take care of your family, go to church. That's what I would tell them.
Come on.
Just because you attended this class and you feel good about yourself before you leave here is going to take a lot of help from other agencies that are out there to help you get past that addiction.
Don't let nobody stop you from going. Don't let nobody stop you from moving forward. Don't let nobody take your dream. Because a lot of us in this room have big aspirations as kids. You know, everybody wanted to be the doctor. Everybody wanted to be the police officer. Everybody wanted to be the basketball player. But somebody said, you will never be nothing, or you will never have that, and we succumb to that which people have said. So we allowed them to kill our dream. So then we start hunting. We start looking for love in all the wrong places. And some of us in the room, I mean, I can admit, sometimes the street love felt better than the home love. I mean, I don't got nobody like that. I mean, I'm one of them. Even though I know my mother and my father loved me and had the best interest, I felt the street love was the best love that I was getting. Because the street love said that as long as I'm doing what everybody else doing, as long as you fresh to death, as long as you got, you know, as long as you getting high, drinking, or had a, you know, they love you. But I seen it when my cars broke down and people didn't call you when your cars broke down. Or when you pulled up to the gas pump, nobody was reaching in their pocket saying. So then I found out the street love wasn't fair. Is that a true statement?
When you get locked up, your friends ain't sending no money. The people that you dogged out, your girls, that's the people who send the money, your family.
Yeah. So the ones that you turn your back on is the one that have your back. Parents, mother, father, girl, So now you in this step, or you in this process where we find out the streets ain't fair.
Some people so used to failing till they don't know nothing but that. They don't even know what succeeding feel like. And you know, I encourage a lot of people now it's a lot of people rapping in Ben Harbor instead of we shoot basketball and shoot people. You know what I'm saying? Sell dope. That's it. That's all you used to use, either a basketball player, a gang member, or a drug dealer in Ben Harbor. That's it. Period. You know what I'm saying? When I came out with this music, because I represent for both sides of the city, so I like brought everybody together. The murder rate down now, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people make music, you know what I'm saying? They influence, so they spend more time making music than running the streets and doing other things. It's still a little violence, but it ain't nothing like it was, you know what I'm saying? We was the murder capital before. You know what I'm saying? But they don't give us no credit. Like a lot of people changed in here, like, and I give them credit, man. You know what I'm saying?
Some people will go and leave here and say, I applied the same principles that you've given us or instilled in us, or things that have been said, or my goals. You know, how many have set goals since you've been here? You know, we had the goals. What am I doing 6 months? What am I doing 3 months? What am I doing 12 months? What am I be? What am I do? Don't just let those go in the trash when you leave. Be an inspiration, man. That's one thing that I'm looking at in the future. How do we go back and stop a 16, a 15, a 14, 17, 18, and get them on track? Maybe you might not get the whole group, but if we can rescue one or two that's on their way down that beaten path that we've already tread through, we've already done blazed a trail through this area, why allow somebody else to bump their head in the same place we bumped it? Why allow somebody else to get turned out by drugs or alcohol when we beat it? And again, you might not save everybody, but if we can just get to one or two and let them know, you know, this ain't the way you want to go. It brung me here, you know, and some of us even in the room feel the effects of felonies. How it's hard to get a job with a felony. You know, it's hard to get a job in Michigan when they put the driver's responsibility fee on you when you lose your license. Or now they take your license for child support. So how am I gonna get to work to take care of the baby if I don't have no license? You know, so these kind of turns that we've made, that maybe if we can stop somebody else from making that same cycle in their life, maybe this will be worth it.
I think everybody deserves a second chance, but also I tell them when they're here, you know, if you mess up, we're going to be out there to arrest you. But here's the tools. We're going to help you try to get the tools that you need to change your life around. But it's like anything. You have to want to do it. It has to come from right here.
Hopefully, they wind up with some tools to think differently, to speak differently, and then which causes them to act differently. They wind up with different choices, and they realize that their choice determines their destiny. So they wind up with some alternative measures.
Now what, I mean, you gonna hold me hostage to what I did 20 years ago? Not me. I'm free. I'm free here first.
I started killing myself with a weapon. I would kill it and drink it. This right here, you know, put me back in, I feel my body good now, man. I mean, I get through when I did 9 months and some change in here. Thank God for putting me in this penitentiary and all that. I needed this break. And he was telling no story. You know. I almost said thank you to this.
To anyone that might not feel that good about themselves or might not sure what's wrong with them because they don't want to do something or get out of bed, go get help, because I didn't do it. I got pills, but my doctor told me, get a support group. Go to your pastor, and I almost did, but I didn't do it. And if I did, maybe I wouldn't be here. I mean, I needed someone to listen to me, not to give me advice.
When you see this group, you don't see a hopeless group of people. No. You don't. Really.
You're only hopeless when you're dead. Yeah. That's the only time you're hopeless.
But I just thank you for sharing and opening up, because some people can be closed. And the way to get up is to speak up. This program can help you even when you get out of here. We're still here for you. Just don't stop here. I look at it as a brotherhood, a family, you know. Many people, when you get out, we have connections to get you jobs, rent, food, whatever it is to help you start back or restart. We have ways to get you back where you need to go. As long as we're breathing, we got another chance at it. I mean, how many in the room could have died before, was in a situation where your life could have been taken, you know? I mean, there's circumstances, situations that surrounded us that, you know, put us in this predicament. But when we get out, we got to do something different.
Whatever they've done, they've committed a crime. But still, some of them just don't have the ability to cope with life. I look forward to the day where we have houses where people can go to, even if it's just to drop in, just to say, you know, I just want to just sit with some people so I can get that extra push or extra pull up. So I'm thinking about it, but just because I had a conversation with somebody, I changed my mind.